my brother used to watch WWE.
Okay.
And every time we would fight, he would try a choke slam. you know, I remember going down to WrestleMania, my first WrestleMania. And then when I go there and I experienced 75,000 people in the stadium. But then I learned that there were 75,000 people tailgating. The concept of tailgating was so new. I'm like we've been to matches in India to watch, cricket matches and stuff like that. But it's nothing as wild as what I experienced there. I believe that not everybody wants to win cash. People are very stoked about even getting a mention. If GoPro would comment on their post, it elates them. I've always believed that life is a series of consequences of the choices you make.
True.
You know, and that particular mantra has guided me all my life. It's about choices.
Welcome to Unstoppable Women Show, Mayuri Pitale. It's been a while. We waited for you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I know we've been in touch for years.
Yes.
And I have been truly inspired, with everything that you're doing and, the platform that you have, for women to tell their stories and inspire others is commendable. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mayuri. And you have one hell of a story.
I hope so.
Okay, so, let's start from the beginning. Where Mayuri was growing, how it all started, the dreams in your eyes, which brought you to Mumbai.
Oh, well, the story started in a small town called Valsad.
Okay.
Oh my God, this sounds like a fairy tale. Many years ago, or,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I come from a small town, and I think, like anybody from a small town, I have had a big dream, and so did my parents. So for me, it was always pushing the boundaries, and trying to understand what else is possible. So but coming from a small town also brings a set of challenges. There's a small town mentality which is very, you can say, restricting in many ways, right? I mean, a lot of times you have to accept that you will always have to challenge the status quo.
Okay.
So coming from a small town also means this community. So I've always been brought up with friends and family. Any big decision to be made involves the entire family and the support system, which is like trusted friends coming together.
Yeah.
But of course, my parents have always been prioritizing, my siblings and, what's best for us. So most of the times it's challenging the norms. So like, my parents were not, they don't speak English. They did study till the 10th.
Okay.
So the first shackle to be broken was to be able to have the confidence that you could educate your child, put them in convent.
That's step one, of course.
Yeah. And it's a very conservative setup in a small town. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, small wins are celebrated like they're big wins.
Yeah.
That makes you feel
That's
confident. That's the
Yeah.
charm. That's the charm, celebrations. And coming from small town also means that you have ample of opportunities to explore. Those days, any which way, screens were limited.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
TV other than Doordarshan to watch. So it was always about just going outdoors and being active. Weekends were like, what do we do? My dad would just drive us around, and
your dad was a photographer and fourth generation photographer, right?
I was supposed to be the fourth generation
You were
photographer.
supposed to be the fourth
I was not
generation.
good at it. I did not get a single frame
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So my dad, my siblings are very good photographers, and they do this as a hobby, and they do it professionally too, but not me. Though I was at the background when you talk about being a part of GoPro, but that's it. So when I got married, my dad was very happy that I don't have to live up to my last name anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But I was
your marriage brought you to Mumbai, or it was
no,
more career
as I
move
said,
for you?
Small town, big dreams. So my parents, they were really ambitious about us. So what my parents thought was to give us exposure, and the exposure that they could dream of,
Yeah.
was bringing us to a bigger city.
Right.
And Mumbai,
So
was
you
also
moved with
closer.
your parents to Mumbai.
Not with my parents. My parents continue to stay there.
Yeah.
But that's what, I mean, when you talk about small town conservativeness, to be able to then push your children.
Yeah. That's a bold step.
Yeah, it's
That's
a bold
bold-
step.
yeah.
It's to kind of create an ecosystem for us so that we could come to
Yeah.
Mumbai to study. So I came to Bombay. I like to call it Bombay. So I came to Bombay to study. I went to college, my graduation, my post graduation, and then my first job, and thereon I've been here forever.
So you've traveled in local train, Mumbai local train.
Yes.
How was it? Your first experience?
My first experience was overwhelming. I never could have imagined that many people. And the fact that the only way you could get in is by making your way, pushing your way and, getting in. And then I stepped on somebody's toe. The lady was a Maharashtrian, I believe, and she was so agitated. She was having a bad day, I believe, and she just went on, and I did not understand a word of it, so I was not ruffled at all. And that made her even more agitated. And
You understand the language now?
now I do because I'm married to a Maharashtrian.
Ah, okay. No
Yes.
choice.
Yeah, but I don't know what she said
And I
then.
believe he's a sailor, right?
He's a sailor. He's been out at sea, for a very long time. But even he has a sense of adventure in him.
Yeah.
That kind
So
of.
do
drew
you.
him.
So do you. I think I see you guys mostly up and about into nature.
Yes.
So that's coming from both your passions.
Both our passions. We like to be outdoors rather than being in front of television or a screen. We like to, rather than watching a sport, we like to indulge in
Lovely.
a sport. So that's what it is all about.
Which all sports?
Which all sports is I like to dabble. I like to explore. So I play a lot of sports, but I'm really passionate about swimming.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You were a national level player as well, right? Swimming? No.
struggler at a national level.
Struggler. Okay. As authentic as it gets. Huh?
Absolutely. So I was a state level swimmer.
Okay.
But to be honest, I have never won or made a mark at nationals. So that kind of also taught me, the sense of persistence, perseverance, discipline, and also kind of, never giving up.
Yeah.
So I still continue to swim. The schedule doesn't really allow to take up training in a dedicated way, but I still make time to swim a couple of times in a week. And whenever I can, I represent my club at, regional competitions.
Lovely.
But
What about your daughter? Has she picked up?
my daughter has been dabbling with a lot of sports. So I think as a child, she was into gymnastics,
Okay.
rope Malcolm. And every time she would go on, for me, it's about playing it safe. Swimming will never hurt you. And then she was doing things on the rope Malcolm. And I was like, every time she would do a twist and fall, I'm like, and she was just 4 years old. I'm like, oh my God, but she enjoyed it. So she did that. She represented at the district level. Then she's like, I'm bored of it. I want to do something else. She started swimming with me. She also, again, started competing. But then she was like, oh, I want to do diving, And then she started training for diving. Again, started competing. And then she was like, Mom, I want to follow horse riding, and now she's into show jumping. And
It's so good to know, Mayuri, in an age and time where I think we are stuck with 4 to 5 frames, right? And we're just hopping between an iPad and a laptop and a mobile screen, to have kids grow in an environment where they see parents do something which is rich and with nature, and you rejuvenate when you spend time in nature. So it's really nice.
It's great.
I see you doing in your one of your photographs. I saw something called, it's poi or pio?
Poi, yeah.
What is that? Very fascinating.
oh boy, I mean, as I said, my love for music, right? And music means going to concerts and parties and stuff like that. And I saw some of the hippies, you can say, they were always spinning something, and I was
ropes or
fascinated.
strings and
Absolutely, especially in Goa, and I'm like fascinated. And I learned that this particular thing that they are doing is called spinning poi.
Okay.
So I grabbed my first POI.
POI, okay.
So it's basically weight suspended onto a rope, and then you juggle with them around your body and you swing. It gets you in a state of flow.
Wow.
It's beautiful, but it's very, very hard because it kind of activates your left and your right brain, because you are doing two different things with both the hands in different directions, in different planes. So it requires a lot of practice.
Do you go into like a meditation sort
It
of
is.
a
It is.
mind?
Sometimes you just kind of put your music on and close your eyes and you just go with the flow.
Yeah.
It is. It's really, really nice. It also keeps you active. So my
Correct.
daughter does all of that.
Okay.
But at the same time, she's also pushing me to do things that she's passionate about. Like surfing is what she likes to do. And I'm like, I don't want to be a parent who goes surfing and doesn't try a
Yeah.
hand. So I'm like, okay, I choose my waves, but I mean, it's always about, she inspires me a lot,
Very interesting. I think you yeah.
To be honest, we have enough of screen
Screen time,
distractions.
yeah.
So often than not, she's also on the phone, but she's also very conscious and aware
Yeah.
that you need to step out
Because she's
to do
experienced the
something.
other life. Thanks to
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
So you're not only who's invested in passions and interests, you're also somebody who's launched companies in India through your company Mandala.
Yes.
Right? Obviously, there's a huge history behind it. You worked in media, you worked in entertainment companies, GoPro, Hyperice as marketing head.
Yes.
That's really fascinating because somewhere, somebody looking outside, from outside, will feel that you are someone who's very connected to self and to nature and sports, and hence the choice of careers,
Yes.
or the choice of jobs which you've picked up. So there seems to be some synergy, some synchronicity going on there.
Yes.
Is it like what I'm seeing, or there's something more to it?
Oh, well, I just feel that, as John Lennon said, life is what happens to you. Right? So I'm just fortunate that, I've had these opportunities, but at the same time, I also feel that, it's important. I've always believed that life is a series of consequences of the choices you make,
True.
and that particular mantra has guided me all my life. It's about choices.
Yeah.
And I think, being born in a Gujarati entrepreneurial family, it just
Yes.
like, early on, I remember going and helping my dad at the studio, and then at the advent of digitalization, when films were going out of vogue, and the whole studio business and the lab business was kind of going down. It was all about what else is possible, what can you do. And I really enjoyed working with my dad, and that's when, so I graduated in sciences. I did my BSc just to realize that I'm really passionate about business. And I told my dad that I want to do an MBA, and I really enjoyed studying business, so to say.
Okay.
And that is when I realized that, it's also about learning how to create value. And that is my passion.
Okay.
My passion is about creating value. So my early on, we were talking earlier that, of course, I started my career with Tata's, where I was responsible to launch business process outsourcing products. Then moved on to join MTV, where I was a part of the marketing team. But at the same time, it was about creating value in a way that is we are able to monetize the brand. So brand licensing, and brand licensing kind of, introduced me to the concept of always launching something new, because you have a brand.
Right.
And you have a strong brand, and now you're thinking about what are the logical categories that appeal to the target audience, so that you can expand, your audience base, and also your business, in the most risk-averse way. So, licensing is like, the straightforward answer.
Yeah.
So developing style guides to educating potential partners on the benefits of licensing, and going out and creating the portfolio. Like when you launch MTV Citibank credit cards, it's launching a new business from scratch.
Yes.
When you launch MTV apparel, it's launching a new business.
That's right.
I remember launching MTV watches and so many categories, right? And it's every category is a new launch that you have kind of thought through, and you have orchestrated in ways.
Right.
And that's when I realized that if I could do this, I mean, my team was 1.5, like me and half a peon.
Okay.
You know?
Wow.
So I was
And
like,
back in those days,
back
when you
in
had to
those
do
days.
everything on your own.
Everything. So you have to
Literally,
roll up your sleeves
yeah.
and not be
Yeah.
afraid to kind of get dirty, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you got to do everything
Yeah.
that
And you
requires to
and
be
you were
done.
traveling quite a bit in those days as well.
Yeah, MTV was, I mean, of course, locally too, because, you know, every launch, I mean, it's about fan engagement. You know, it's about engaging fans at retail, engaging fans, you know, on ground
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So working with the VJs and, you know, making sure that you're doing all the activations at the right places. I traveled a lot in India, but of course, because I reported into, my regional office was in Singapore.
Okay.
You know, I had one of the best bosses that I could dream of. She taught me, you know, everything that I know about doing business.
Right.
You
And
know?
then you moved to GoPro?
No, so
Is
then,
it?
you know, the entrepreneur kira in me, you know, the Gujarati blood, you could say, you know, I was like, if I could do this for MTV, I could do this, you know, for so many other global
Absolutely.
brands,
Yeah.
because India didn't have a brand licensing agency.
Yes.
So I had a friend at work, Lily, and you know, we were working. She joined much later after me, but we kind of connected. You know,
Okay.
so we both quit MTV to co-found India's very first brand licensing agency.
Amazing.
Went on to represent Kingfishers, which is a part of Hearst, Sega, and more,
Lovely.
and did really good work there. But I think Extend Brands was essentially, it was a huge learning curve for me, you know, like any, and with my first entrepreneurial venture.
This was in
per
early
se.
2000 or?
This would be 2007, 2008,
Okay.
because that was
Okay.
when, you know,
Got it.
the recession
Recession hit, yeah.
And we just started and we're like, oh, recession. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
But luckily we were in the space of, you know, we were working, Popeye was very big, you know, it was about kids portfolio.
Yeah.
And we know that no matter how hard recession could be, parents would always take a hit.
Yes.
But they would never compromise on the children, you know. So luckily it was not too bad for us.
It was not too bad. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
where you focus during recession. It's
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So that's what we did. But, you know, then I joined WWE as a formative team. I was the second employee on ground, you know, helping. My first mandate to kind of was to establish the consumer products portfolio.
Okay.
You know, so kind of, you know, also kind of support live events. And, you know, that's where I dabbled with experiential events like none other. You know, fan engagement at its best.
Yes.
You know, I remember going down to WrestleMania, my first WrestleMania. This was in New York.
Tell us about it. This
Oh
is
my
going to be
God.
interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up with, you know, single television household.
Yeah.
You know, so my brother
Doordarshan.
used to watch WWE.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
every time we would fight, he would try a choke slam. You know? So I understood the world of WWE and how, like, you know, he would force us to play those trump cards with him and stuff like that. And then when I go there and I experience 75,000 people in the stadium, you know, and the ring is that small.
Yeah.
There, you know, and, you know, you could literally, you know, you can't see your favorite superstar. But then I learned that there were 75,000 people tailgating. The concept of tailgating was so new. I'm like, we've been to matches in India to watch, you know, cricket matches and stuff like that, but it's nothing as wild as what I experienced there. So when you talk about experiential marketing, right? I mean, how they are able to engage the fans who are literally coming with their trailers and camping outside the stadium, watching it live on their screens.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Pay-per-view was big. It was big in US then. You know. And they were all watching it pay-per-view, and you know, there are meet and greets with their favorite superstars. People are queuing up, and it's about bringing WWE to life. You know, it's
brand experience to the core. I mean, that's what has really caught up now, but what you experienced was back in those days.
Absolutely.
Right?
So I've learned so much, and I'm really fortunate and grateful to God, you know, to have given me these opportunities to learn, you know, through these opportunities. And I think when I was in WWE, it was all about, you know, brand licensing and, you know, retail experiences and stuff like that, promotions, you know, activations. But I was really hungry to kind of get out of that space and become a generalist.
Okay.
To be able to kind of do something more than just brand licensing.
Okay.
And I think GoPro came along at the right time. So GoPro was looking to launch in India.
Okay.
So I was the first employee helping them set up the business in India. So when you say that, you're the country manager and everything else from Pune, you've got to do everything. Everything. So there's no as I
huge.
said,
I think I see you someone with huge creative energy. Like you would go to places where something needs to just start.
yes.
Right. At the time of inception to the time of you actually raise the baby and the baby's out to go in the world now. But I think that's a space which kind of really fascinates and excites you.
Yeah, it does. It does. As I said, it's about creating value. And for me, nothing is too small. Like, for me, it's like creating an opportunity and maxing it out, right? I mean, to a large extent, it's about collaborations. Like, when you launch anything new, and that nobody has endless budgets, right? It's about collaborating. It's about expanding your target audience, and how do you kind of work through brand partnerships, event partnerships, in a way that you always think about creating value not for yourself but also for the partner. And when you turn it around and when you think about what is it that I can offer that is of value, then automatically money doesn't become important. It's not about being
it's the
sponsors.
Purpose. It's the vision you brought on table then.
Right. With every partnership, with every collaboration, if that is the key, then you're bound to grow.
Absolutely.
Because everybody is there to win.
Yes.
So there was the premise of my collaboration, so to say, across everything that I've ever done. It's always about bringing value to all the stakeholders involved.
Very interesting. And that we saw in Hyperice as well, right?
Yes. So when we launched Hyperice in India, it was very exciting because we launched in India by bringing on board Virat Kohli as the first Indian investor, and honestly, he came on board mainly because he loved Hyperice. He understood it's about the value, right?
Absolutely.
So he understood the value of recovery. Like, you can't have a downtime. At the same time, you got to look after yourself and your soft issues and stuff like that. So he used to use our products for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity presented, he was like, it's not about, coming on board as, an ambassador of all sorts, but it's about investing. He wanted to be a part of the business.
Okay.
So, and because, and when you look at value creation from that lens, then when you know that you're a part of a company, you're invested in it, got your skin in the game. Now you don't mind, like, I remember his first post into Normatech, he's not tagged us. He's not mentioned the brand, but he loves the product.
I remember that post.
You do?
Yes. I think even Anushka had posted something. It was so organic and really worked in your favor.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it just kind of, boils down to be able to bring value.
Yes.
I believe. And for us, some of the most amazing partnership, because Hyperice as a product was all about experience, right? Unless you experience, you're not going to be able to tell why you need it.
Yeah.
So partnering with, Cult Fit, making sure that everybody at the gym could experience the product. We had partnership with Procam, where Delhi Marathon, Mumbai Marathon, Ironman, be it. We realized that to be able to drive value, we had to provide recovery to the athletes. Right. So when you are tired, you're fatigued at the end of the run, when you wish somebody would give you a massage, we had a fleet of therapists, some 250 therapists, ready with the, Hyperice products to be able to kind of, ease your recovery.
Yeah.
And once you experience that, you will be thinking about, oh my God, I need it.
So was content marketing a huge part of all of this? Did you manage to create content and deploy it later?
Yeah, okay. Of course. I mean, content I mean, going back to the MTV days, it was about product placements.
Yeah.
You know, and then when it comes to WWE, it was again a huge part of content, right? I mean, content licensing was huge, you know, so you know, also content in terms of experience, where we had a very huge franchise which was gaming. WWE gaming was a thriving business. I
Yeah.
believe it is even today.
Yeah.
You know, so content has always been, because I believe that content is what you consume
Exactly.
in some form
Yeah,
or the other.
Yeah. Or engage
right?
with or
Or
experience.
engage
Yeah.
with, right? I mean, and that is the main entertainment value in many ways,
Yeah.
right? I mean, either you gaming or you consuming content on social media or TV or whatever. So content has always been a part. Even at GoPro, it was all about the virtuous cycle, right? We realized that if you want to build a passionate community, it's also about empowering them, right? So, of course, the ecosystem that GoPro had was very easy. It's easy to shoot. One button press, it does the rest, you know. And the app was so strong that, you know, the whole entire ecosystem worked in tandem. Like, you know, you shoot your content, you kind of, you know, just open your app, the content would download, and, you know, and automatically you will be served up an edit. You know, so I think anybody in the right, you know, like you, me, anybody in the room today is a micro influencer.
Absolutely.
You know, empowering them to create content that looked wow, you know, was easy because of the ecosystem, so to say. But still, we were so invested in creating this community so that we were able to give, like, we wanted everybody to be a part of it.
Okay.
You know, so we focused heavily on UGC content, you know, so we had workshops, you know, just to kind of teach them how to maximize the usage of GoPro. You know, when you use GoPro to this optimum, it's very easy to kind of, you know, create awesome content. And then we created a platform for them to be able to get rewarded for the awesome content. So we have GoPro awards, you know, and I believe that not everybody wants to win cash. People are very stoked about even getting a mention, you know, like if GoPro would comment on their post, it elates them. Right? If you feature their content, it elates them to the next level, you know. And if GoPro would feature them and award them, you know, that's the
That's a
next
different
level.
wow. Yeah. So
Absolutely,
you're
you know.
enabling them throughout their journey.
Absolutely,
basically.
you know, and there's an incentive along
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah.
And then when you have this user-generated content, and when you're creating a community, you're also creating a community of key opinion leaders,
Yes.
the influencers, you know.
Yeah.
But again, we talk about influencers. It's always been important to me to work with people who are like-minded, who understand the value of creating content because they're passionate about it, right? And
not because they're being paid, but
not
because they're invested in it.
absolutely.
They use the product.
Absolutely.
They are part of the community.
You know, and then when it is authentically coming into their lives and they're showcasing it, I think the audience is also very smart. They
And
understand.
They pick it up. And especially these days now, with so much exposure in this space,
Absolutely.
audiences just know.
Absolutely. So we never ever told a community that you got to tag us. You know, I mean, they would just generally show up that they're using the camera, you know, and, you know, they would just talk about it. And that authentic, you know, plug-in, so to say, kind of goes a long way.
Absolutely.
You know, and this community that we built, you know,
Yeah.
the influencers also were able to create awesome content. And this, you know, made us think that what can we do, you know, with this content. You know, so I remember when I joined GoPro, you know, my first dream, and I remember talking to my counterparts in the US, and like, I dream that one day we will be able to launch a web series which is like 100% shot on a GoPro, and our content would be showcased on a big screen in Bollywood, you know. And I'm like, we'll get there. But by the end of my journey, you know, I'm so glad to have had these opportunities, you know, because we were able to leverage content of the community, and you know, put it on the big screens, you know. So we launched 100% shot on GoPro content on TV.
Brilliant.
Sony, BBC Earth, you know, launched a web series. We had MX Player doing something for us, which was all shot on GoPro content, and not just that, even on Bollywood, right? So I was amazed that, you know, GoPro built cameras that were able to suffice the needs of the big screen, so to
Yeah.
say. So our collaboration with Malang as a movie,
Okay.
all the travel and
It's all
adventure
shot
spots on GoPro, and again, authentically, they were able to showcase through the storyline
Yeah.
that they were capturing those lovely moments,
Yeah.
through GoPro.
Yeah.
They were documenting the life through GoPro. So that authenticity kind of was flowing all around, and that helped build the community because there was something for everybody, and everybody was able to showcase the best version of themselves
Yeah.
in the easiest way.
You know what the ease about your journey is? That you have brought something to India even before India brought to the world, which is influencer marketing and experiential marketing, which is on a big high now, right? Post pandemic,
Yes.
choices were limited, and then choices became too much because everything opened up. People wanted to experience, be out there, go out there. But you were doing all this back in 2000s, 2000, whatever, all the
Right.
experiences which you're
Absolutely.
sharing. So I think your approach to business is really commendable because you see it in a very holistic way. The way the industry is seeing it is because we are reacting to the situations outside, but you are seeing it very inside out, right? What the
Yes.
brand wants, how it will connect with the audiences
Yes.
authentically, and authentically has become the keyword these days anyway.
Absolutely.
And Mandala India, I think you've done some fabulous, stuff under this banner as well. Talk about a few of those.
Sure.
One which really caught my attention was bringing game to India, which is not very popular. I think was it baseball? Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I brought it to India, but I had a small role to play
Okay,
in
sure.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Mandala also happened because, as I said, entrepreneurship runs in the veins, so to say, and I already had a first stint, with Extend Brands, where we pioneered, India's very first brand licensing
Yeah.
agency. And even our licensing portfolio was always out of the box. Even when I was in MTV, we launched MTV Citibank credit cards, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
First in India, did so well, which kind of started in India, expanded globally. So I mean, it's always about asking what else is possible. Right. So when I was the first employee setting up GoPro, setting up Hyperice, I was already seeing a lot of interest, from global organizations, looking at India, because they say rising tides lifts
Yeah.
all boats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our economy is growing, right? I
Yes.
mean, we've grown into the fifth largest economy. Speculations are that we will be the third largest economy
Yeah.
by 2027.
Yeah.
So all eyes are on India.
Correct.
And you want to work with somebody who has the experience, the expertise, the network to be able to set up the global businesses for
Yeah.
success in India, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that it was time for me to kind of do what I did for one brand at one point in time, and help many others to do the same in India. So I helped work. I'm currently working with Remarkable, leading paper tablets.
Yeah.
Help them put together the go-to-market strategy, help them with the strategic partnerships,
Okay.
launch, and now helping them with the growth and all of that,
Okay. Okay.
And speaking of content, I also took lead because MLB has been in India for some time, but I think we realized that it's about telling stories which will inspire, right? Life is all about that. And I think even for MLB, the opportunity to launch the docuseries, Indian Baseball Dreams, was just that opportunity to be able to localize content and have that narrative, that clicks, that is relevant,
Yeah.
to the Indian audiences. So through that documentary, we were able to showcase the journey of Indian origin athlete who's making waves in one of the teams, and how baseball and cricket are connected in many ways. It's about a bat and a ball and hitting it out of the park. So just trying to kind of bring it in the pop culture, so to say, And we launched a docuseries on
Hotstar.
Hotstar,
Yeah.
and it was record-breaking viewership, so we know that people are open to new sports,
Right.
outside of cricket. And I think having some sort of commonality between cricket and baseball also kind of helps,
Yeah.
because everybody is used to hitting the ball,
Right.
and bowling,
Yeah.
so to say. So it was intriguing. But I think content, as you rightly said, is an integral part of everything that we do.
Yeah.
And you've been in content,
Yes.
I mean, you are a pro. I look up to, everything that you're doing in content space, so to say.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to also see, how your experience has been in terms of content, community.
Absolutely. I mean, see, content has always been the game, right? Storytelling and connecting with the audiences, the platforms and the mediums, formats have changed.
Right, right.
And what I see happening now is what I mentioned earlier, which is influencer marketing, experiential marketing. AI has come into our lives now. So we are also trying to understand how AI is going to help in storytelling. AI is going to help in creating different formats. I think that's where the conversations are at right now. But content is very easy as a conversation compared to a decade ago,
Yeah.
because it's part of the boardrooms, it's part of the CMO's conversations, it's their mandate.
Yes.
More so, even more so now. So I think it's been very enriching to be in this industry and be dedicated for 2 decades now. So yeah, happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Coming back to you, Mandala, India. What are your next challenges? Because looking at you and your energy and your creative energy, Mayuri, I'm sure you're going to pick up something or launch something which is outstanding.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, as I said, I'm just excited about creating value. It's exciting that through Mandala, I'm able to bring global brands into India. It essentially means that we are creating opportunities for global brands in terms of their international business.
Yeah.
And India, you cannot ignore anymore. It has to be a part of your strategic international business plan, right? So that's there. But it's also about creating value for the country, right? It brings immense value to be able
Yeah.
to, bring these opportunities in India. Because when you bring these opportunities to India, everybody has got to win. There are more opportunities for people of the country. There are more opportunities for the nation overall. But at the same time, I feel as if, given the fact that our economy is at, that critical tipping point, so to say,
Yeah.
there will be more opportunities for us to see many more global brands come to India. I mean, I'm working on a couple of projects, but
Yeah, you can't talk about
not
it.
in the public domain yet.
No worries, no worries. We are almost coming to an end of our podcast, but I wanted to ask you about your parents and how they see your journey and your achievements. When you go back to your hometown, what are the feelings? Looking at your journey, where it started and where you are now.
Yes, I am a girl from a small town with big dreams. As you said, I came in the city with twinkle in my eye, but I was faced with a lot of challenges as well. Because as I said, when you come from a small town, people appreciate competition is not that fierce. You think you can do it. Then you come to a city like Bombay, and then you realize that,
Yes.
I learned to work hard, work harder than anybody else to be able to make a mark. I learned the value of discipline. I learned the value of never giving up, to be able to challenge the status quo. There are times when you will feel that you're going to be put down.
Yeah.
But I think it's all about believing in yourself. That you can do it, but at the same time, be willing to put in extra hard work, to be able to do what you want to do, because nothing is easy. But at the same time, I believe that opportunities are there for everybody.
Right.
It's about knowing which door to knock, and how to knock, and then kind of make your way there. I think that's what it's all about. It's about choices, as I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's about the choices that you make. And I think it's about also not being afraid to ask for help. I'm a firm believer of asking for help. I don't think I know everything. I don't think I can do everything by myself, but it's about having the humility, which a small town teaches you.
Yeah.
That
Grounded. Yeah.
if you ask for help, nobody will ever refuse.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow, that's how you learn. And I would say, that is what, will make you, make a mark, so to say.
Right.
Don't be afraid. You don't need to be perfect. I believe that you have to max mediocrity. Because all of
Very
us,
true. Yeah.
I mean, the moment you take that pressure off you, you will be able to do well.
Yes. Yes.
So I think it's
so you
just
think
about
the city puts
accepting.
pressure on you, or you?
Sorry?
The city does put pressure on you.
It does. You come from a small town.
Yeah.
You feel like you don't dress as well as they do. At least when you come to the city, you don't speak as well as they do. You don't have the lifestyle that a big city, the pace of the city and all of that. It gets overwhelming at times. And, there's always, like, from being very confident and self-assured, you come to a new place and it shakes you up.
Right. Right. So where do you get your resilience back from? How do you go back to your core, or get your centeredness back? Is it going back to nature? Do you practice meditation, or it's swimming? You just go into the pool and okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Oh no,
All
stress is a part of everybody's life.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody who meditates regularly also is able to manage
Absolutely.
stress. But yes, I swim. Swimming is my zen. But I also am constantly doing things. So like my husband right now is teaching me Tai Chi.
Oh wow.
So that also kind of helps. Poi helps you
Yeah.
go in the flow and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel that the resilience that you talk about comes from, again, coming from small town. You've been taught to be strong enough to pave your way.
Yeah.
Never give up, right? Challenge the status quo and all of that. Also sports, because sports, I can't say that anybody plays a sport to win. I mean, winning is never guaranteed. You can
Yeah.
have a good day or a bad
But
day.
the attitude
right?
matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about persistence, perseverance, hard work, that helps you succeed in life.
So that's the storehouse of all your values coming from.
I don't know about that.
Lovely. Mayuri, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and I think our listeners are going to get enriched today, and especially all the people out there who are from small town with dreams in their eyes. There are huge opportunities waiting for all of you. I think that's what we've heard today from you.
Thank you so much for having me, for giving me this platform to express myself.
It's an honor for us. Thank you.